let's set up our jaw controls. So we first want to make sure all animation has been removed from the two jaw chains. Let's go ahead and head over to coordinates. You can see that there's a bit of animation data still left. So we know how to fix this. Just highlighting all channels, we'll just go in and Control Shift and left click to remove the animation. All right, great. So let's go in and build our upper jaw control first. And what I'll do is actually create a cube. It's a very large cube. Let's go ahead and make it editable, and we'll just extract a few edges from this object. So going back to edge mode, let's go ahead and select just a few of these. Now check the selection. Great. All right, so to convert this edge selection to a spline, we could use Mesh, Commands, Edge to Spline. And what you'll see is that it has been nested underneath the cube. So let's go ahead and grab the spline and separate that from the cube hierarchy. We can go back to our model tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and now remove the cube. And we're left with this pretty cool spline. Checking our snap settings will make sure that we have axis snap enabled, so we can go ahead and move this to the upper jaw's pivot. I'll just move in a bit closer. All right. Right on target. Great. So let's go now to point mode. Grab our rectangle select tool and just scale these points down. Just a little bit more. Okay, great. I'll use the hotkey NG to go to wireframe, just to resize this a bit, scaling it down, and then we can go to our move tool and bring this up and forward. The Y and Z axes, so it's easier to select this. All right, great. Just being a little nitpicky here, I might want to scale this down just a bit more, and I think that's going to work out well. And now we can go ahead and have this conform to the head. Let's go to our move tool. After selecting a few of our points here, and we can go ahead and just drag those away so they're not intersecting. And there we have it, our upper jaw control. Let's say we go ahead and rename this object. That's going to be anim upper jaw 01. We'll have it recolored. So we'll use red. And then we'll have this stored in our controls layer. Okay, great. So now we can go ahead and clone this to create our lower jaw control. It's going to be Control C, Control V. And then in the bank axis, we'll go ahead and set this to 180. All right, so that flips it around. We can now go to our point mode again, use our rectangle select tool to scale our points down just a bit more, and then bring this control closer to the chin. All right, great. That will work out very well. Going back to model mode, I'll just go in and rename this object. That's going to be lower jaw 01. We need to make sure that the orientation here is 0 so that when we connect in our PSR constraint, there's going to be no shifting. So right now it's set to 180. To fix this, we can go to our axis mode. And now, being that we're only moving the axis, we can go ahead and 0 this value back out. Oh, we go ahead and undo this back again just to make sure that we are only moving the axis of that object. All right, beautiful. So at this point, we can actually go in and take these two objects and have them stored underneath our head control. Let's go ahead and turn off axis mode, and we will store them under anim head 01. Okay, so checking them, we can make sure they're frozen. Beautiful. And we're ready to set up our constraints. Okay, now keep in mind that we will need to adjust the priority on the constraints we're about to use. And since the head has a priority of 1, we'd want to use a priority of 2 for our jaws since they're nested underneath the head rig. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. We'll find the roots of both jaw chains. We can use our search field for that. That's going to be root. Now we'll go ahead and select them. We can now clear out our search field and use scroll to first active to find the two objects. All right, there they are. So starting with the upper jaw, let's go ahead and select the root first. We'll go in and now shift select our animation control and choose constraints PSR. Let's go ahead and rename this to PSR constraint underscore root upper jaw 01. All right, beautiful. If we were to go ahead and take our head control and start to move that and undo back, notice it's a bit jittery and there is a lag on the upper jaw. So again, just to fix that, see when we adjust our timeline, it snaps back. To fix that, we just need to adjust our priority here. Let's go ahead and grab that and set it to a value of 2 here. So now, again, watch as we start to move this around and undo back, no issues. Let's do the same thing for the lower jaw. We'll go ahead and grab its root, shift select the animation control, and constraint with a PSR. Let's rename this. PSR lower jaw. And we'll set the priority again to 2. Now we can go ahead and test things out. Moving the head control, undoing back. Everything works beautifully. All right, so now we can test out our 2 new controls. Let's go to lines and on shaded with NB. We could start to rotate. Notice we have a very nice flexible looking head rig. Let's go ahead and turn off axis snapping so we can start to move this around as well. Some nice stretching here. Same thing goes for the lower jaw. Very cool. Okay, well, that does it for our upper and lower jaws. You can always check to make sure your transforms are frozen, which they should already be. You'd also check from time to time to make sure everything is stored in a layer or hidden. If it's a null, just going to object and making sure its display set to none, just to clean up along the way so you don't have much to do at the very end. All right, well, that's going to finish up our work here. So in the next lesson, we're ready to start on the brows.